This video is kindly sponsored by AG1. I myself am a influencer in the motherhood niche, and I feel like as a species we've kind of fallen off the rails a bit lately. Specifically, I've been feeling a sort of distancing between myself and the influencers I love to watch, and the ones I don't love to watch for that matter. Relatability and just overall connection seems to be dwindling.
I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but I'm so over influencers right now. Like, I literally have been trying to clean my page of them. I don't care that you're running errands to Target. I don't care that you're going to a nail appointment. I don't care if you're cleaning out your closet. And it's just so unrealistic and unattainable. And even the influencers that are like realistic vloggers, like vlogs are not real. Like, all of it is so consumerism. Ooh, I just am not vibing with it right now.
There are my moms who are driving around a 2015 and plan on driving it literally until the wheels fall off. There are the middle class moms like me who this weekend are driving to 2 or more grocery stores in order to save $100 on the grocery bill. Where are the moms like me who are worrying about how their babies are gonna pay for college when you're still paying off your student loans yourself?
I felt this shift over the past years in the momfluencer space in the type of content that's been putting out, causing this disconnect. As well, while there's a bunch of really scary stuff going on in the world, influencers are just, going about their days posting business as usual. And I'm not one to put the pressure or responsibility on influencers to become social warriors or talk about things they're not educated in, but the influencer world has just felt tone deaf. And while this is a trend I'm seeing in all niches online, I specifically want to talk about the motherhood niche because I'm a part of it, but also because it's a niche that's grounded in connection and relatability. Before I continue on with the momfluencers, I do want to take a moment and thank today's sponsor, who is AG1. I've been taking AG1 for quite a few months now. My husband has been taking it for quite a few years. He got on the train when he was dealing with gut issues, sleep issues, and he wanted to take charge of his health and focus on the things that he's putting in his body to help remediate what was going on. He saw great effects, so I wanted to jump on the train as well. If you haven't heard of AG1, it's a science-driven formulation of vitamins, probiotics, and whole food source nutrients that aid your brain, gut, and immune system. It was made to fill nutrient gaps, promote gut health, and support whole body vitality. One daily scoop of AG1 mixed in water delivers a powerful blend of health products working together to help you feel like your healthiest self. I love AG1 for multiple reasons, one of them being you're getting all your multivitamins in just one drink per day, on top of a bunch of superfoods that I would normally never be taking on a daily basis. It has things like shiitake mushroom powder, which helps support cardiovascular health, which is really important with Josh's health history. Reishi mushroom powder supporting immune health. Rhodiola, which is good for energy. Astragalus, which also supports your immune system. And then other healthy things like spirulina and broccoli powder. It's just really cool that you can get all that in one drink instead of having to take a bunch of different pills every day. I've noticed a boost in energy whenever I take my AG1. I like to have it in the afternoon to give me a pick-me-up instead of having a second cup of coffee, which will usually give me a caffeine crash. I know the color's intimidating, but it's actually really tasty. It has fruit in it as well, like pineapple extract, so it has kind of a tropical taste to it. I really enjoy adding lemon to mine, and I look forward to it every day. So if you guys want to try out AG1 for yourself, head to the link in the description to get a free 1-year supply of AG's vitamin D3 plus K2 plus 5 AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Thank you to AG1 for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to the momfluencers. Let's talk about the good old days. For those of you who weren't around for peak motherhood on YouTube, it was fabulous. Now I don't really know when the peak exactly was, but for myself it felt like 2017 to 2019. Maybe that's just because that's when I started wanting kids. It probably started earlier than that. But what made the motherhood niche amazing is that it was so community focused. It was full of moms sharing their pregnancy progressions, all the symptoms they had, symptoms that aren't so common and seemed like no one was talking about. Birth vlogs to show an actual play-by-play of how your birth might go. Newborn vlogs were the best, showing how much a baby sleeps and just what a typical day might look like. Baby development updates were huge, talking about developmental milestones, what's been normal, what hasn't been normal, but maybe is still kind of normal but feels not normal. Of course, there were product recommendations because the baby market is so outrageously huge that you don't know what's good, and it was nice hearing people's real life experiences. It was about sharing so that you can help other moms who are going through some of the toughest times in your life, whether it's a baby with colic or just a baby who doesn't sleep well, a toddler with tantrum difficulties, whatever it was, it felt like a safe place to share and learn. And that's why I joined YouTube, was to be a part of helping other moms. But all the good days did have to come to an end. Specifically with vlogs. Before I had my baby, I got so much value from these vlogs. And I know there's an immense amount of hate for mommy vlogging and exploitation of children, and I'm by no means trying to dismiss that. I just really miss the good that came out of it. This is probably a controversial opinion, but at least on the internet, but being able to see into a mother's day-to-day real life experiences, routines, and mess ups and struggles was the most helpful thing for a new mom or a mom to be. It's terrifying becoming a mom because every mother and child is different, so you really don't know what you're gonna get. So there's no great examples or, I don't know, outlines of how it's gonna go. Just seeing a mom go through this process real time was the most impactful. And you might say that there's other ways of learning how to become a mom, like people have done it before mommy vloggers were around, and I get that, but I was very much an over-preparer when it came to motherhood. Like, I read all the books, I listened to all the podcasts, I watched all the mommy vloggers, and nothing hit quite like a 24 hours with my newborn video. People say babies just eat, sleep, and poop, but what does that actually look like hour by hour? And don't get me wrong, I'm not asking for people to bring back the old vlogging days. I'm just really sad that we can't live in a world where we have that and it not be perved upon. That means we don't get this raw, relatable content anymore. I also want to touch on the comment section. A lot of the safety in mom content came from the way the comment section was used. Videos would spark conversations in the comment section where mothers would share their experiences and connect with other moms. Of course, you're always gonna have trolls, but overall, it felt like a pretty positive place. And the way YouTube worked, and still works I guess, but is you would get suggested videos in your homepage based on what you've previously viewed, and you would have to intentionally go out and click that video to watch it, right? And this meant that only the parents who were actively a part of the parenting community were getting fed the content and interacting with it. Now it feels like that safety has been stripped with the boom of short form content.
Just embarrassed to share this, but he's been crying for 18 minutes, not like aggressively the whole time, but I've never ever let him cry, like ever. He cries, I pick him up. So it's definitely obviously jarring to him. And just as a mom, it's like so hard. It's so hard.
The thing with short form content is that any and every niche will be served to you whether you wanted it or not, because they're trying to see what you're into, right? You don't have to go out and click a video intentionally. It's fed to you, and if you don't like it, you swipe, but you're still seeing it. When you as a parent yourself are now commenting on these reels or TikToks, you're now sharing your vulnerabilities with just anyone who happens to scroll on the video, not just moms. Now on to money. If you are at all involved in the influencer world, you know that it's all about diversifying your income. Obviously, money has always been a part of the influencer game, at least since it was an option to make money off of it, but it didn't feel like it back in the good old days. The influencer world was centered on YouTube. Of course, there was also Instagram that was happening, but I felt personally like YouTube was where the influencer game was really at. And the beautiful thing about YouTube is that creators get paid for you just watching content. Technically watching the ad overlays, but still, it's not like the influencer had to go out and share ads. And I think this was a big factor in the niche being so community focused, because the creators didn't have to push product to make an income. They could, and they often would, but especially for large creators, it wasn't vital to their survival to do it. If you don't know, which I assume a lot of people don't, but Google AdSense doesn't pay amazingly. For smaller creators especially, doing sponsorships is what gives them a living wage. But for larger creators who are getting hundreds of thousands of views, they're making good money. Now, since so much of influencing has shifted to TikTok and Instagram, the influencer world feels so much more like a money grab. Now, while on YouTube you have this paid partnership program, on Instagram you don't have that. So your main income comes from sponsorships and affiliates. TikTok I know has a partnership program. I don't know a lot about it because I'm pretty sure we still don't have it in Canada. I'm not on TikTok as a creator anyways, so I don't really know. But even I think the creator fund is not very big. If it's anything like YouTube Shorts fund, you're making pennies. So TikTok, as you've seen, is a lot of affiliate sales and sponsorships, of course. And there's other ways to make money, but those are the main ways as an influencer. So all that being said, with the motherhood niche now moving over to TikTok and Instagram like every other niche, it just feels way more money focused because the only way these creators are being paid is by pushing product.
I am so sorry to be a hater for everyone trying to get their bag, but the TikTok shop thing is pissing me off. Because now I just see like random videos and everyone's just trying to sell me something, and it's just like, it may be an authentic review, it may be, but now that you're trying to sell me something, it just annoys me and I don't even want to.
And I want to clarify, I am not against people making money. You work hard, you make your money, you deserve it. It's just that the focus of the motherhood niche, which once was so lovely, now feels way more money forced, unlike those YouTube days. And this has only been amplified by the cost of living crisis. I noticed around like the third quarter of last year that influencers were probably feeling the impact of affiliate sales going down as Americans are going further into crippling debt. And this has led to what I feel is ad overload. I have noticed way more product placement. Like I said, probably trying to make up for those affiliate sales going down because people can't afford stuff anymore. On top of that, while there are influencers making a lot of money, there's a lot of influencers who are just making a regular income. And so with the inflation we've experienced over the past few years, things being 30 to 50% more expensive, they're trying to increase their income to keep up with the cost of living, just like your average worker is feeling the pressure to do as well. It's been such a struggle to just try and maintain your standard of living. I can also verify this because I'm in the same boat. I, like a lot of people, have felt the pressure to increase my income so that we can keep living the same life we were living 3 years ago. And one of the privileges of being an influencer is that your income is flexible, and with the right opportunities, you can increase your income as opposed to someone on a salary, right? And one of the easiest ways for a lot of creators to increase their income is more sponsorships. And while we're on the topic, it is not lost on me that it's quite contradictory to have a video about ad overload and have a sponsorship in that video. I did honestly think for a while that I wasn't going to sponsor this video so that I wasn't, doing the thing that I said I didn't like. But honestly, like with me going down to 1 video a month, sometimes 2 videos a month, I can't afford to not throw sponsor in here. And I love Athletic Greens. It just sucks that for me to make money, I have to put the influence on you to spend money, Moving on. New mothers have always been an easy target in the marketing world because there's nothing that a sleepless, stressed out mother won't buy to get a little bit of rest. And YouTube felt like that solution where you would get real life experiences, real opinions with these products, honest opinions that was just for helping moms. And while there's still a lot of mother influencers out there helping people with their product suggestions, I feel like it's been muddied by affiliate sales. It's harder to know if something is a real review or just product placement.
What I love about this product is that it's very moisturizing. I personally put a dab in each of my eyes before I put in my contacts. Then the rest of the day, I can't see anything, which is perfect. I obviously got this product for free, but I'm sure you could find it somewhere in like a store.
And while social media is still the go-to place for must-have suggestions, it feels more like you're listening to a spokesperson rather than a friend sharing an experience. I also wasn't completely sure if there was an increase in ads or if it just felt more out of place with the economy being crap. I asked you guys on Instagram, a lot of you are also saying that you're feeling ad overload. And to further support this, research has revealed that the impact of the influencer content is waning because of the cost of living crisis. This survey of 2,000 UK consumers found that almost a quarter of respondents had unfollowed accounts they felt presented a lifestyle that was not relatable to them. A fifth of people were less likely to be swayed by their content and recommendations, and 20% said that they were more likely to skip ads from influencers. In addition, 1 in 5 said that they were less likely to watch influencer content during the cost of living crisis. Moving on, I think this time has also exposed the previously established wealth gap. A lot of influencers who are quite wealthy try to minimize it because it's good for business. The way they portrayed their lives is often not so showboaty. Again, this is in the motherhood niche. I know there's, a lot of niches that are all about showing the extra. But this year it felt like there was almost a leg to these influencers adjusting what they show to keep up with middle class standards. The middle class has taken a big hit economically this year, and with the impact not being as severe on higher class influencers, it's just harder to relate to them.
Why don't you let me fix you some of this new mococo drink? All natural cocoa beans from the upper slopes of Mount Nicaragua, no artificial sweeteners.
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
Like, while we're all struggling to keep up with grocery prices, these people are still buying new clothes every season, going on multiple vacations per year, keeping up with all the home decor trends. It's just business as usual, like they've always posted. And while it's not the norm for all middle class people to be going on multiple vacations per year, it wasn't out of the question for, say, upper middle class, so it all still felt kind of within reach. But as we're realizing, or if you've already realized, their tax bracket is definitely not our tax bracket. Sophia Crowther from an influencer marketing agency says that traditionally inspirational content has performed well, particularly the highly visual and heavily curated content of Instagram, and particularly during the pandemic when audiences needed escapism from lockdowns. But that's changing. The turn away from influencer content of this nature has seeped into customers' perceptions of brands. 33% of all consumers have stopped spending with a brand due to the company feeling out of touch with the higher cost of living. I myself have felt the need to unfollow some of my favorite influencers because it felt fake, for lack of a better term. Not that they're being fake, but just the expectation of my life being like that felt fake, or that spending habits haven't changed felt fake.
Okay, this just isn't said on here enough, but I need to remind all of us and myself that having a haul from a store once a week is not normal. Getting a package every day is not normal. Buying a whole new wardrobe every time the seasons change is not normal. And if that is feasible for you, that is fantastic, but that is not the standard. And I love TikTok and I love this space and it's so fun, but I do not want to get caught up in thinking that the reality of people in the world is what I see on TikTok, because it's not.
Black Friday was also super weird this year, besides the fact that Black Friday sales were a joke. It was also interesting to see less promotions from influencers. By this time last year, it felt like the influencers were either aware of the struggle or feeling the struggle themselves. So instead of bombarding their audience with never-ending Amazon wish lists like years previous, it just felt like there were little mentions, like one story pop up of suggested gifts, and that was it. Sophie Wood, a lifestyle content creator, said that when Black Friday happened, I didn't post any sales. I think it's kind of silly to be encouraging frivolous spending at a time like this when so many people are getting laid off, and it seems really insensitive for me to be spending and showing items that I'm buying. I also found Christmas really triggering this year. I don't know if I'm the only one, but seeing influencers with their Christmas trees filled with presents like you can't see the floor has, always been the least relatable thing about Christmas for me. Not even from like a financial standpoint, but it's just like, that's not real life. And I know I'm not the only one. And this isn't supposed to be like a humble brag of like, we don't spoil our children. I feel like a lot of people have trees that look like mine, where there's just a few presents under the tree and like everyone gets a gift or two. It's just the fact that it hit different this year, where we're already feeling so much financial pressure, and then to see the same thing we always see of trees overloaded with presents kind of was a tipping point for me, where at the end of the year I'm like, okay, I'm gonna unfollow a bunch of people that aren't serving me anymore.
Where are my people at? Like, where are the ones who have small homes, small apartments, who literally thrift their home decor and, I don't know, don't live this like over crazy expensive life? Like, why can't we post on social media more just so we can feel less alone in our era? I was trying to edit a Christmas like home decor type of video. When I was looking up for inspiration, literally every single video that you see is this overly glorified, like perfect life of really huge chandeliers, really big houses, staircases, 12-foot freaking trees. I'm so tired of social media only being that, like this unattainable life, This life that makes you honestly feel bad if you're nowhere near that.
Getting back to the point, we always knew these influencers made a lot of money. It was apparent by their house, their following, their view count, their spending habits. But when the middle class is crumbling, like by the fall of this year, most Americans had spent all their savings. Black Friday was paid for by Afterpay, and the renewals of mortgages in 2024 are expected to cause a housing crash if interest rates don't decrease. Meanwhile, these influencers are on their second trip to Europe. It just made me, and I assume other people, feel like, oh, I'm not like you. And I know I'm again walking a very fine line of shaming people for having money. I really don't mean to do that. It just feels out of touch to flaunt your wealth during these times. This is the year where the veil has been lifted off the life of the mom influencer that you have always loved, because you find out that you can't achieve their life anymore. Or at least it doesn't feel as easily attainable. Obviously, you can argue, you know, it's a capitalist world and you work hard enough, you can achieve anything. But realistically, for a lot of people, you have to win the lottery, literally or figuratively, to reach their same level of wealth. I do also wonder if the whole trad wife movement has been pushed during these times, whether intentionally or not, to increase relatability. Since the motherhood niche is all about relatability, what's more relatable than a simple wife living a simple life? Wait, did I say that right? Simple wife living simple life.
How to become a traditional wife. Number 1, embracing ultra-traditional gender roles into your marriage. The man, he is the provider, the main breadwinner. He goes out of the house and works. The woman, the wife, she is the homemaker. She takes care of the home. She takes care of herself, and she does the cooking and the cleaning.
Caring for the children, cleaning the house, making a homemade dinner, the whole like I'm just like you kind of mindset. I do want to make a whole video about the trad wife movement, so I don't want to get too deep into it today, but with the motherhood niche shifting away from vlogging over the past few years, they had to come up with new content to offer. And for multiple reasons, the trad wife aesthetic made sense. One of the reasons is that it's beautiful. The trad wife life is the ideal in a world where we're overworked and overstressed. It gets to the root of us all just wanting to live simple, beautiful lives. Whether your dream is to have a homestead or not, it still is encouraging seeing a woman thrive in her nuclear family. And that's what they've always been trying to sell you, right? The ideal, happy, fulfilled mother that we're all aspiring to be. And the issue is that it's just not as attainable as it seems. What looks like moving away to rural land, taking a pay cut, living a more frugal life is actually being done by very wealthy people still living very wealthy lives in disguise. One of the best examples of this is the ballerina farm. If you don't know about her, Hannah Nealman, I think is her name. She's a ballerina and a farmer. It's beautiful stuff. She's taking care of all her children without any childcare in sight. She's working on the farm. She's making homemade meals from scratch every day, of course, including sourdough bread. And the thing that a lot of people didn't know, maybe you don't know, I just found out, is that she's actually super well off. I don't know if she came from money, but she definitely married into it. Her husband's father is the founder of JetBlue, I think, and so they're the heirs to millions of dollars. And when you find that out, it's just so off-putting because this simple life that she is trying to sell us is immediately unattainable. For example, things that you don't realize are that in her rustic little farmhouse, she has a $20,000 stove. And the real reason she's so happy and carefree is because she doesn't have any money struggles. In a way, it's really refreshing having someone not shove their wealth on you, but it's just sad that even this simple life is one that you can't achieve. And yes, I'm sure that they work very hard, especially farming is very hard, but it's just different when there's no financial pressure on their lives. In addition to this, the trad wife movement is selling to us that you can achieve happiness from just caring for your home, caring for your kids, while failing to include the fact that these mothers are making an income themselves. They aren't even really, in a sense, traditional wives. They're not stay-at-home moms who are relying on their husband's income. Obviously, this is a blanket statement, but you know what I mean. They're working and making an income to achieve this lifestyle.
It's never been harder than now to be a trad wife. The whole world has rallied against us, telling us that we need to be CEOs, doctors, lawyers, and yet we still choose to rebel. You're like me and choose this edgy alternative lifestyle, feel free to buy my course.
And I think this is the crux of the issue, in that these influencers aren't even being real with themselves. They're selling you this ideal world where they're fully fulfilled from serving their kids, serving their wife, serving their house. Meanwhile, they're the breadwinner. I'm in a maybe unique, maybe not unique situation where I did YouTube, I worked from home, and then I had my second kid and was like, maybe I should not do YouTube anymore and just, do this thing that everyone's showing me is so beautiful and just care for my kids, care for my husband, care for my home. And I friggin' went crazy.
Again! Again! Again!
It's different for everyone, don't get me wrong. Some people love doing those things and I'm so happy for you, but I get so much fulfillment out of my work. It makes me a better mom and a better wife that I have my own project I'm working on. And so I do wonder for these trad wives as well, maybe they wouldn't be as happy if they were only doing their mom stuff, because they are working and getting fulfillment and an income out of it as well. It's also just disturbing thinking that maybe there's going to be some women out there who are maybe prior to getting a college education and decide not to go to college, not that you need college, but this point stands, not to go to college because they just want to be a trad wife because it's being portrayed as such a beautiful, wholesome life, and then they get into it and they're like, oh crap, actually I am not about this life. I want something that's my own. Wow, I'm going down a rabbit trail. Like, this is all for the trad wife video for sure. But the whole point stands in that it's just not real. Like, they're selling us these fake lives. They're not showing their content calendar, their video scripting, filing taxes, camera maintenance, all the editing, of course, all the work that goes into this, because it's not aesthetic and it doesn't align with the life they're selling. It just adds to the disappointment that even us norms can't afford to be stay-at-home moms unless we pick up a camera and start selling ourselves online. Lord knows I had to do it. It just feels like the ultimate influencer delulu that the lives that they're living are in complete contrast to what they're portraying online. To end things off, I don't think the mom influencer space is going anywhere anytime soon. People are always going to be looking for advice or things to aspire to. Escapism content is a real thing that we all love and often sometimes feel need, to get a break from our own lives. But I do feel like maybe the mom influencer space will continue to get smaller as there's less relatability, unless maybe the economy does a 180 and we're looking to spend money again. I will forever miss those days of the good old mom influencer life on YouTube, but who knows, maybe it's just finding a new form and there will be a different way to connect with moms online in the future that works for everyone, because moms are always looking for a community. So yeah, that's it for today. Let me know what you think about the mom influencer space, your experiences with it, because it was hard finding resources, people's opinions right now on the matter. It's not very talked about, so I would love to hear from you as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.